Welcome back to another Mlb Power Rankings video. If you're wondering where the Orioles recaps are, I have to film them. I filmed 2 of them so far because I didn't have time this weekend. So we're going to do Power Rankings right now. We're just going to get right into it. Starting with the number 30 team. It's not the Angels. It is the San Francisco Giants. 1-2 against Colorado. Yeah, I know they destroyed Colorado today, but that doesn't take the fact that they lost the series to Colorado. At the beginning of the week, they also got swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that also doesn't have the fact. Number 29. I think the worst record in baseball right now. The Detroit Tigers. The only reason why they're not number 30 is because they did have a couple leads. They should have had it. They could have easily won the series over the White Sox. They easily could have swept the Angels. They could have had a 5-1 week. Said it's the opposite. They don't. They fall at 22-38. Yeah, they're like the injury screwed them, and this team is the minor league roster right now. Next up, number 28, we get the Angels. Like I said, 2-1 against Detroit. 1-2 against the Rays. They destroyed Tampa yesterday. Close game today and close on Friday. So they're still horrible. I still think they're the worst team in the American League and the worst team in baseball. Number 27, we got the Colorado Rockies. Start off the week 0-3 against the Dodgers. Almost won the first game of the series. They're up 3-1. Got destroyed the second game. The third game was only 4-1. Like, it was a close series except for that one game, and then they beat the Giants. So at least that is good. Number 26, a bit of a fall here for the Marlins. Yeah, so they went 1-2 against the Blue Jays and 0-3 against the Mets. 5-game losing streak. They fell into last place in the division. Doesn't look like they're going to get out of there either. Next up, number 25, got the Kansas City Royals. So the Royals, they went 1-2 against the Rangers. And at the beginning of the week, they got swept by the Yankees. So 0-3 against the Yankees, and then they went. So horrible week for them. They're in 4th place in the American League Central because the Tigers are a joke right now. Like that's gonna be a funny matchup when they match up again. But yeah, Royals number 25, number 24 out of the bottom row. Maybe for the first time since my first Power Rankings of the year, the Mets. They saved it with a 3-0 series against the Marlins, because at the beginning of the week, I forget who they played, but I know they did not win. Yeah, they got hammered by Cincinnati 2-1, but Mets, they still got a long way to go. They're still 26-33 on the year, 25-33 or whatever. Next up, number 23, Houston Astros. So they went 1-2. Who'd they play this weekend? I already forget. So at the beginning of the week, they went 2-2 against the Texas Rangers. This weekend, I don't know who they played. Yeah, my bad. I forget. But yeah, they're not very good. They haven't had a great stretch. this season. They've had an okay stretch lately, but they're not a very good baseball team this season, and their dynasty is slammed shut. But next up, we got the Minnesota Twins. Horrible week. 1-3 against the Chicago White Sox. 0-3 against Pittsburgh. So, that is a terrible look for them. They were doing well. They were in the playoff. They were in the wild card. And then they go out and lose the rest of the week. 1-6 week, and they fell very far back. With the Jays and Orioles having good weeks, they fell further back. Yeah. Next up, we got the Texas Rangers. Like I said, I think they might have got 1-3 against Houston, actually. It was either 2-2 or 1-3. And then they won the series over the reeling Kansas City Royals. But that's not really impressive. The Rangers actually got no hit on Monday. Yeah, they're not really doing themselves any favors in this playoff race. Next up, we got the Boston Red Sox. 2-1 against the Cleveland Guardians this weekend, and 1-2 against the top team, Atlanta Braves. I mean, they could have definitely gone 3-0 against Cleveland, but 2-1, they're finally starting to play okay. They got a massive series against the Orioles. They're only 4 games back, I think. So if they sweep Baltimore, they got to bank on Toronto losing, though. And Toronto plays the Braves, so probably will lose. And then Boston could climb in the race. Will they sweep the Orioles? Probably not. They'll probably win 2 out of 3, though, because that's what always happens. But yeah, next up, I think the biggest faller of the week. We got the A's. 0-3 against the Mariners, and 1-2 against the Yankees. They allowed 13 runs in an inning today, and that was the only runs they allowed, though. So that at least they settled in, almost came back, but they lost 13-8. So, yeah. Next up, number 18, got the Reds. It's not because they had a bad week or anything. They went 3-3 against, they went 1-2 against the Braves and 2-1 against the Mets. Destroyed the Mets. But it's only because other teams had a way better week than them. Like the team that I'm about to mention right here, I can't say it, had an okay week. And that is the Arizona Diamondbacks. They fell a decent amount. But Arizona got swept by the Mariners. I know the Mariners are red hot right now. And they swept the Giants. But the Reds, they're just a team that's weird. They don't win games against the top teams, but they do crush the lower teams. But they did win today against the Braves, and they get to 31-28 on the year, which is a decent record. They're in the mix for the playoffs. Next up, big rise for the Chicago White Sox. 3-1 against Minnesota, 3-0 against Detroit. It could have easily been a 1-2 or 2-2 split with the Twins, or a 1-2 split with the Tigers. They could have actually had a losing week. Nope, they're on a 5-game winning streak, 5 games over 500. Second wild card. I don't know if they're gonna slow down. Murakami going on the IL definitely hurts this team because they got big series coming up, and if they don't win, they're kind of screwed. Because I actually think that they're going to start to fall off. I think that the Orioles, Blue Jays, and Red Sox will start to play better. I don't think that they're very good. I don't like them either because I predicted them to finish as the worst team in baseball, and now they're deciding to make a playoff run, so I hate them. Next up, also a pretty big rise for the Washington Nationals. Can we just give a round of applause to the Nationals? 2-1 against the Padres. That was good enough in itself. And they went 2-1 against the red-hot Cleveland Guardians at the beginning of the week. Maybe I should have them swapped with number 14, which is the Phillies. Because the Phillies lost to Cleveland. And Washington beat Cleveland, and Washington kind of hammered Cleveland. Like, Washington is above Philly in the standings. They're 2 games over 500. Philly, I think, is 1 game over 500. Philly went 1-2 against the Dodgers. And at the beginning of the week, I'm pretty sure they swept the Padres. The Padres are also another reeling team. Next up, another reeling team, Chicago Cubs. So they went 2-2 against the Pirates and 1-2 against the Cardinals. Not a great week. Again, they broke their 10-game losing streak. They're still below both the Pirates and Cardinals. They're in 4th place in the Central. You gotta remember, the Reds are only a game behind them. Like, this National League Central is gonna be amazing. Next up, I think the biggest rise of the week, we got the Baltimore Orioles. They finally had a good week. 3-0 against the American League leading Tampa Bay Rays. That's good in its own. And then they went 2-2 against the Blue Jays. That series was a close series. 3 one-run games. The Orioles choked a 5-0 lead on Friday, and then the Jays returned the favor by blowing a 5-1 lead in the 9th inning with 1 out and no one on for the Orioles. And they lost that game. Yeah, and conveniently they're number 11. And they won the series over the Miami Marlins. Maybe I should swap the 2 teams, but whatever. They're separated by 1 game in the standings. So yeah, next up, number 10. They saved their week with the series win over the Cubs because they started the week 0-3 against Milwaukee. They definitely could have won the 1, so it should have been like a 500 week. I'm not going to penalize them for having 1 bad week because they've had so many good weeks this year that can't really. Number 9, another reeling team, the Padres. 0-3 against Philly, 1-2 against the Washington Nationals. At least Fernando hit his first home run of the year. But yeah, oh, my neck is hurting. But yeah, this team is not what I thought it was going to be for this year. I think they're going to miss the playoffs entirely. Like, that's just my take. Number 8, a little bit of a fall back to earth with the Cleveland Guardians. 1-2 against Washington. And 1-2 against the Red Sox. Fall down to earth for them. Maybe they're going to start to fall down a bit. I still think the Tigers will win the division. Once Skubal gets healthy, this team won't be stopped. I think Skubal will help them earn an extra. Well, he'll win most of his starts. I think the team, once they get all their players back, this team won't be stopped. And they'll win like a lot of games in a row. Remember 2024? They had a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs at the end of August. And they made the playoffs and almost got to the American League Championship Series. Anything could happen to this team. Next, number 7, Pittsburgh Pirates. Pretty big rise. 2-2 against the Cubs. Not great. 3-0 against Minnesota is great, though. That will do you something. Even though Minnesota's not very good. Next up, first time in the top row in a while for the New York Yankees. Did they earn it? No. It's just because that other teams didn't have that good of a week. The Yankees went 2-1 against the Athletics, but they did actually kind of earn it. They went 3-0 against the Royals. The Royals suck, and the A's are falling, so I'm not too shocked that they are in the top row again. Arguably, could swap them with number 5. I did drop them 3 spots because they didn't have that good of a week. 0-3 against the Orioles. Orioles kind of destroyed them. And then they barely beat the Angels. They got destroyed yesterday. It starts leading me to say I don't think this team's going to make the playoffs. Is that a hot take? No, actually. Even though the Jays are like 9 games back and the Orioles are like 10, I think they're the worst team in the division. And I don't think it's close. The Red Sox have just been abysmal offensively this year. And Crochet's been injured. Once that team gets going, they're not being stopped. The Orioles are getting going, and they can't be stopped. The Jays are getting going. They can't be stopped. And the Yankees are better than every team in the division. The Yankees have already proved this year what they are. The Rays are not going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. Number 4, another pretty big rise. Finally, they broke through with a 6-0 week. 3-0 against the Athletics, and then they went 3-0 against Arizona. 2 walk-off wins in the 10th inning against Arizona and destroying the A's. Only allowing 3 runs in the final 2 games against the Diamondbacks. This team is legit. They're World Series contenders. I think they're the best team in the American League. As you see right here. Yes, they're 5 or 6 games behind the Rays. They're way better than the Rays. They're better than the Yankees. I don't care what the records say. This team's going to get going, and they are not going to be stopped. Next, number 3, we got the Milwaukee Brewers. 3-0 against St. Louis. They went 2-1 against Houston. That's what I was thinking of, who's Houston played. This team is very good. But the problem is they're going to get the 3 seed probably, and they're probably going to have to play like the Cubs or the Cardinals or there's so many good teams in the National League. The American League might have a team finish under 500 and make the playoffs. That's crazy. Number 2, we got the Dodgers. 3-0 against Colorado, 2-1 against Philadelphia. Did what they needed to do, took care of business against Colorado. Didn't split the series again. So, yeah. But number 1, yep. 40-19 or 40-20 is the Atlanta Braves. 2-1 against Boston. 2-1 against the Reds. 2 red teams that have red in their name. They took down. But you know what, guys? That's going to do it for today's video. If you liked it, hit the like button. And you know what to do. What else? Subscribe. We're trying to hit 450 subs by the end of June. And I will see you on the next video. And also, I'm not going to be able to post on Tuesday, which is the unfortunate thing. I'm at camp from Monday to Wednesday. I'm going to post a video tomorrow morning very early, and then Wednesday when I get back. Can't post on Tuesday, though. But that's going to do it. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do already. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.